Bullies made the quiet girl play their Squid game. Her final move left everyone speechless. Wait a second, tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. She never said much. The quiet girl in class, the one nobody noticed until the wrong people did. They laughed at her silence, mocked her skin color, and thought making her the center of their twisted game would be fun. They called it Squid Game, but it wasn't a joke to her. Every task was a humiliation. Every dare chipped away at her soul. What started as a prank turned dark, and they pushed too far. But what they didn't know was that she was keeping score. And in the final round, she played a move no one saw coming. Aisha was the kind of girl who moved through the world without leaving a ripple. 17 years old, a transfer student, she was soft-spoken, with warm brown skin and thick black curls that she always wore in a bun. Her notebooks were filled with sketches, wildflowers, faces, stormy skies. She didn't speak much in class, didn't go to parties. That made her a target. At Westbrook High, silence wasn't strength, it was weakness. The popular kids, especially a trio of white students who ruled the school like it was a kingdom, noticed her silence, and they didn't like it. Maybe it was her quietness, maybe it was her hijab, perhaps it was just the color of her skin, but they decided she didn't belong. At first it was subtle, a snicker as she walked by, a shove in the hallway that was just an accident. Notes left on her locker said, "Go back where you came from." No one said anything, not the teachers, not the students. The message was clear, keep your head down and survive. Then came the game. They called it Squid Game, inspired by the show, but theirs wasn't about money or strategy. It was about power, control. They wanted to see how far they could push her, how much shame she could take. It started in the cafeteria, then spread to the schoolyard. They gave her dares, humiliating ones. One mistake, and they promised the whole school would see the footage online. But Aisha never backed down. She just kept playing. The first dare was simple. Eat an entire lemon, rind and all, in front of the cafeteria. She did it without flinching, even as students recorded her with their phones. They laughed, called her names. One shouted, "Bet she's used to eating scraps anyway." The next day, she had to crawl across the basketball court during gym while everyone watched. "It's a game," they said. "Everyone's laughing, don't be so sensitive." She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just did it. That's when it escalated. They made her chant offensive phrases in the school hallway, phrases aimed at her own identity, her religion, and her race. Aisha recited them like stone, knowing her silence protected something bigger, that if she cracked, they'd win. But inside, something burned, something that refused to be broken. Word spread fast. A private group chat was created, Aisha Squid Game. Dozens of students joined. Teachers ignored it. Some didn't understand the references. Others looked the other way. After all, they said, it's just a joke. But for Aisha, every moment was a storm. At night, she'd cry in silence, then draw. She sketched every face, every dare, every cruel laugh. She was building something inside her head and in her notebook, a blueprint, a plan. Then came the final round. They told her if she wanted it all to stop, she had to do one last thing. During the spring assembly, she would be handed a water balloon in front of the entire school. Inside it, they said, was red dye. All she had to do was throw it at herself, ruin her clothes, make everyone laugh one last time. It would be hilarious. She said yes, but she had a plan of her own. The gym was packed. Students chattered, unaware of what was about to happen. Teachers watched from the sidelines. The three instigators sat in the front row, grinning. Aisha stood in the center, balloon in hand. Silence fell. She held the balloon high. Then she turned around and threw it, but not to herself. She hurled it straight at the ringleader, Jackson. The balloon exploded on his white shirt, revealing not red dye, but black ink. Sticky, cold, and unmistakably symbolic. The crowd gasped. Before anyone could speak, a projector flickered on behind her. Aisha stepped aside. And what played next was a series of hand-drawn animations, each frame based on the real events she had endured, her humiliation, their cruelty, the laughing crowds. The screen showed their faces, their actions, their messages. Every page was scanned from her notebook. Her story was told without a single word being spoken. Students shifted in their seats, phones dropped, teachers stared in stunned silence. And Aisha? She stood still, arms crossed, watching them face what they'd done. She never had to raise her voice. Her truth spoke louder than any scream ever could. After the assembly, things didn't go back to normal. Jackson and his friends were suspended. An internal investigation was launched. For the first time, the school had to face what it had allowed to fester. Some students apologized, others didn't know what to say. But the silence that once surrounded Aisha had turned into something else, attention. Not the viral, mocking kind, but the human kind. Students started speaking out about their own experiences. Teachers began asking real questions. Change, slow and unsure, began to stir. Aisha didn't become popular. She didn't want to. She continued to draw, attend class, and walk the halls with her head held high. But now, people saw her, respected her, and more importantly, they listened. Her story wasn't just about bullying. It was about resilience. It wasn't just about racism. It was about how society turns cruelty into games and silence into shame until someone dares to flip the script. The question that still echoes in the hallways is the one her art left behind. What would you do if the quiet one finally spoke? Maybe it's time we all stop playing the game and start changing the rules. If you enjoyed this story and found it thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful narratives. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Take care.